Hello guys, every good name is taken here, and welcome to another video. And this is the start of a new series that I'm gonna be making, and let me briefly explain what it's gonna be about. So we all know the tanks that most of the community calls overpowered, too strong, broken, whatever you prefer, you get the deal. I'm preferring to call it OP. But in my eyes, there is actually not a single tank that is indeed overpowered. So, in this series, we are gonna be busting every single one of these tanks. The release of these videos might take a while. And I'm just gonna show you why they are not OP and how you can counter them. So how these videos will be based, I'll try to make them similar to my reviews, so that I don't have to review these tanks. I'll start off with a replay and talk about the statistics of the tank in the background. I will, after that, play a live game. And after those two games that you've watched, I will go into the training room and show what about the tank is quote-unquote broken and why it's actually not the case, or why it's working the way it is. So we started with probably the most prominent here, the T22 Medium. And yeah, let's just get right into it. This is a game I played on stream, so it will be out as a highlight soon. So please don't get confused, or maybe it was, depending on how long this will take to edit. And let's start with the statistics. The T22 has less DPM than both of the other two Russian mediums, 140 and 62A, which I will be comparing them to, and of course on all three I have the configuration to use calibrated, because that's what you should run on these tanks. You have just 0.1 second less reload, longer reload than the other two, making your DPM a bit worse. You have less pen than the 62A, but the same pen as the 140 of 252. Your alpha damage is 310, that's typical for these guns. And now already an interesting part here, the shell velocity on the T22. Even though it is APCR, it's only 1000. And if you compare that to the 62A and to the 140, who both have 1500, that's quite bad, isn't it? And especially considering that the 140 has AP and not APCR, which should be quicker than AP, this is actually already a downside. And this trend will continue. Going to the aim time, we have 2.1 seconds, roundabout, whilst the 62A has 1.4 and the 140 1.8. You have mediocre dispersion, 0.3, 1. 62A is more accurate, the 140 a bit less accurate, so you're right in the middle. Your gun depression is at 6, so it's the same as the 140, a bit weaker as the 62A. And your dispersion is not that good either, it's actually like on your turret rotation. And hull traverse, the 140 shines best here, outclassing both the 62 and the 140. You have 55 kilometers top speed, which is actually quicker than the 62A, and the same as the 140. Backward speed of 20 kilometers is the same for all three tanks. Your engine power is higher by around about 80, I'm assuming, making your power to weight ratio at 20 being around about 10 to 15% higher than those of the other two. But the issue is your effective horsepower per ton is just way worse, meaning your acceleration is slower than those two mediums, making this tank feel very slow in comparison. Also, your terrain resistances are just horrible. If you want to check all these statistics in detail, you can check them out on BlitzStars. I won't name them here, that will be just too many numbers for most of you. The camo is probably also pretty average. There's not a lot to talk about here. And the credit coefficient, it may be some interesting stuff to some of you. As it is a collectible, you'd think it does more credits, but it actually makes less than both the 62A and the 140. So if you want to do credits, just use those. You can even enrich them, making more credits in this tank. So overall, it looks like the better choice. You have a better gun, you have a better mobility in all the other two mediums. Then why is it called OP? And here comes the interesting part. It's the armor. or that is what people call it to be. Your turret armor is front, side, and back 230, 170, and 140. For your hull, it is 180 and 80. That sounds pretty damn good for a medium, and it is. But the thing is, it all works because of a specific thing that you will see at the end of the replay. So, it's not really just the armor or the plates themselves, it's how the tank is shaped. And that is gonna be the key to how you take out this tank or how you avoid certain things. And that's basically it for this tank. Statistics. We're just gonna finish off this game here. I'm clearing that mouse. And if you already look at the result, that's pretty damn good, right? 5 kills, 6.3k damage. You take that. And it might look to you as, hey, maybe this tank is OP, but let me tell you, any of those other two mediums I compared this tank to would have done the exact same job, but probably even better. Because I bounced 2 shots. If you look at the damage 810 that they would have done, if those penned, I would have still been alive. The other two mediums have better DPM, better gun handling and mobility, so I might have even done 8k. Or the 62A, it has more gun depression, so I might have done more damage. But this is a pretty damn good result, and I'm taking that. As you can see right here, 1800 base experience is a pretty damn good result. And so, let's go ahead and play a live game. Let me just select the tank, I should have done that before. And yeah, we want to play regular battles. And now, I'm just not gonna really talk about the tank itself. I'm gonna go through my thoughts on how I'm gonna play and how I'm gonna play this game, and just what I do to consider the tank and how I move around the battlefield, basically. So, I can already see they have 4 tanks that could easily go to the desert, and so do we, so I will take this fight. We also have TD, so I gotta be aware of that, and we are a bit outclassed in heavy tanks here, as we have a tier 9, they have 2 tier 10s. And yeah, so this tank has 6 degrees of gun depression, it has 1 degree less than a 62A, so I can't work all ridges. But it has the same as the 140, so I actually already have a feel for it, on how good I can use this gun depression. I of course also played this tank before, so I already got some knowledge on how to play it, I think. I'm not calling myself a master or anything, but I will try to do my best to use the strengths of this tank, which is one of them, the turret. And the 263 already bounced on it. I'm just gonna shoot heat here, or APCR if he exposes himself. And he already penned the first shot. He easily penned my upper plate. It wasn't that hard. I took one from the E1 there, that was a bit unnecessary. Putting one through the 140 here, just next to the 263. Let's try to use that rack as our cover here. I don't want to go too far because he's just gonna melt my lower plate. And yes, you heard me correct, I said lower plate. The lower plate on this tank is actually weak. I will go on that after this game. So scores 3-0 here. It's probably gonna be somewhat of an easy win, so let's see if we can apply some pressure from behind here on this 140. As the projectile is an auto reloader, he will be out of shells soon and doesn't have the DPM to go with either. Can't really use HE here. Gonna hold myself back a bit because I don't want to be in the target of that E100, and he is going to attack that drone instead. So we can just use our Russian DPM. There was nothing really special about this tank now at all that helped me to fight this game. I bounced 1 or 2 shots, but any other medium could have done that. The gun is pretty good. It's not the best. I've played better medium tank guns. But yeah, the tank is solid. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying that it's not good. All I'm saying, it's not broken and not overpowered. Because If you saw my problems in Blitz video, I really got annoyed by this topic the most. And so this is why I'm doing this series as well. So, we did 4.4k damage, we got 1 kill, 500 assist, as you can see on the side. They're pretty solid result. Nothing out of the ordinary, really, if you go into how much you could do. I did hit all my shots. Most of the shots that I received actually did damage. So, armor didn't hold up too much, and one of those shots actually went just straight into my gun mantlet. So, nothing too surprising, but that was it for this part, and let's head right into part number 2. And now, to the second part, we're gonna have a look at the armor and how absolutely trash it can be, and why it still works against most people. So, as you can see, the whole shape here is kind of like a boat, and so that's your answer already. Because it is that crazily angled, you're just not gonna pen it really if you shoot it on the side on an angle, because you're shooting an angle against an angle. And as you can see here, that is all just one hole. It's one entire thing. It's connected there. The turret is extra, of course. It goes to the back and forward again. It's just one thing, and that stripe over the tracks is a separate part. It's not part of the armor. It's nothing you can do damage against. It's really just that part where you can do damage. Hold down, this thing is also kind of bad, unless you really are hiding your weak spots, because no matter what you do, you always will find an angle to shoot this thing, even if it's just into the cheeks, because heat does that. And here, the stripe that I showed earlier, which goes from the front to the back, connecting this entire hole, it's shootable. You can pen it. So reverse side scraping is a joke now. And you see these coils, I don't know what they're called, I call them coils. You can actually track a tank like this. The T22 Medium is trackable on every single one of these if you hit it like 2 to 3 times. You don't need to shoot the track. It's completely nonsense. And I don't know, we don't have to talk about side scraping because that's just stupid in this tank. And like, I busted it even more. Look how red it is. A 140 goes just straight through it, the lowest T10 medium pen, and it has AP as well. The Sheridan, the lowest pen in T10 as well, goes through that with APCR, with heat definitely, but with its standard round it does it. And you know what? Then we just went for hilarious stuff, like look at what I'm playing. This is a nightmare, shooting this one spot on the T22 Medium. And a tier 5, right, that has no pen whatsoever is penning this quote-unquote OP tank. Yes, it's just that one spot, but it still is that spot. The side armor is completely weak. You don't need to pen it or to have high pen to go through. I mean, we're bullying this thing with low tiers right now. I don't really know why this tank is considered OP when low tier tanks can do stuff like this. Like T49 as well, with its heat, 152 millimeters. We're using gun rammer on this T49. We actually used gun rammer on most of these things. Like, or here, 268 with HE. It has like what, 90 something millimeters, and it goes through that spot. Not reliably, of course, but it goes through. Or here, an E4, the same thing. It has like 90 something. It's just so stupid. And well, we did it some more after this TE4. It just becomes ridiculous. And Death Star with HE, the normal HE, does it. And now we just took it to the limit. This is a tier 4 premium tank, not many have. It was on sale in, I think, the Black Friday? And it has, with AP, 90 millimeters of pen with a gun rammer. We tried that, it didn't work, but if you use a gun rammer, you have 94 millimeters and you're actually able to pen that tiny, tiny spot there on the T22 Medium. Now, let's just put everything together that we had for the T22 Medium. You have a boat shape, meaning don't shoot it in the side when it's over angling, because you're not gonna go through there. Just go for the upper plate. You can pen the lower plate, but it's unreliable, so don't do it. You have this spot, which you can pen with any tank that is meeting this, as long as you actually hit it. The turret is just a joke if you shoot it in the cheeks. The upper plate is just butter. And yeah, I don't know why this tank is considered OP, even when you reverse side scrape, which you can rarely do on most maps, so don't even use it as an argument. You still have weak spots. That spot is shootable when you reverse side scrape. Your cheeks are shootable when you reverse side scrape. If they don't have the right angle, you can even shoot them in the butt when they reverse side scrape. This tank is not as good as people claim it to be, and this video took me way longer than it should have. I really had some editing problems, so I have to apologize for everyone who was waiting for this for a very long time. But this is just stupid. Like, it's a tier 4 medium tank that is just absolute garbage, and it's penning a T22 medium in the side. I don't know what else to do to prove that this tank is not OP. And yeah, it's just like, at the end we even made a glorious finish here with HE. It's just, if you still think this tank is OP, I don't know what to tell you. Big thanks to the Shell Magnet and VG Project, as well as Ethan for helping me to record this video. And a big shout out to Ting, who is my Patreon. And this was it from me. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you all again next time. Bye bye.